Hey guys, I'm Peter Kang. This is Kevin Andrade, and we're working on AskRPI. So AskRPI is basically it's a forum web app used, and it's like directed for use in the RPI community, so used by RPI students, and hopefully we'll be able to get the RPI professors to answer questions as well. So we were just looking at how student-professor interactions happen, and they usually happen over email if you need to ask a question outside of class. A lot of professors use Piazza or LMS, a couple of professors are on Reddit, and other than that, most of what you see of professors are in lecture. And we saw a couple of problems with all these methods, so we wanted to make improvements. With email, we saw that if there are two students who have the same question, a lot of times what will happen is they'll just both email the professor, and that just seems really inefficient. Especially if it's a question that pops up semester to semester. If it's been asked before, you should be able to find the answer again somewhere else. And so we want to be able to include storage of questions as well as search functionality. And another thing that we noticed is that even though professors are a super useful source of information, they just have a lot of knowledge. The things that we can learn from them are limited to things that we generally can learn in lectures. So we want to be able to include some kind of freedom of topic. So be able to ask them whatever you want about anything you might be curious about. And we also want to integrate with already established tools so that it wouldn't be a huge jump to just go to this new app. So in terms of functionality, we wanted to use like a tag-centric organization for anybody who uses Quora or has used Quora. It's thinking something along the lines of that. We want to be able to integrate with emails, so if you ask a question or subscribe to maybe a thread, you could receive digests in email form. We also want to be able to use it for response. So in terms of a professor responding to a question, we might have a thread generate a random email, and then a professor could reply to that email, and we could integrate that into the thread itself, which would make it a lot easier for the professor to transition into the AskRPI. And we want to also include subscription options. So, I mean, that's just more or less standard. In terms of development, we're using Ruby on Rails. We're going to use Bootstrap to help us out with a bit of content. And for database so we just want to show a quick mock-up of what it looks like what we're thinking it will look like so far. So this is the home page. You would have questions over here on the side. You could click on usernames here, and you can click to follow this question here. I don't know if it's quite easy to see, just because of the size. But here we have the different tags for all the different subjects that it would be related to. And here we have like popular tags, trending tags, the tags you might be subscribed to. So that's the kind of our little mock-up. In terms of issues, we wanted to think about how we could collect the emails of professors and students and have something to check those against. And some way to disseminate this and spread it throughout the community. So we appreciate any feedback on that when we get to your questions. But thanks to Professor Goldsmith, Professor Morphy, Sean Silva, and others. So yeah, do you have any questions? Yeah.
Are you trying to inform professors to adopt this because looking at a couple of professors adopt?
Yeah, so that was one of the main issues we thought about too. You're talking about convincing professors to adopt it, right?
Yes.
So we were thinking about just having, so professors answer emails anyway. So if a student has a question, they're going to email the professor. So instead of that, if they just post to AskRPI, then we could make an automated system that would send the professor an email notification saying, "Oh, you have a question," and then they would be able to respond to that email just with their own email. So the way it works would be the question would generate a thread, right? And then the thread would have its own unique email, and the professor just has to reply to that email so that that thread would be updated in AskRPI. So that's kind of functionality that we want to do. So that the professor just looks like he's replying to an email, right? So it's not transitioning to a new environment, it's just replying to an email, right? That's an ability. Anything else?
So is the search is mainly through the tag or what other search features do you have?
So far we're thinking mostly filtering by tag. I mean, switch and use a bit.
So we have the way that we're doing it is you can upload your own tags. So if it's a question that has to do with like homework help, you can tag it, this is for data structures or algorithms or whatever. But you can also tag like topics that you think it applies to. So it'll tag like data structures specifically as a class. It'll tag computer science as a department. It'll tag, whatever the specific questions are. So it's, I guess, depending on the person who made the post, what they thought it would relate to, it would be able to be searched.
So the main difficulty which I find is you can send an email, but you will never get a reply. So is there a mechanism so you periodically send that email?
Yeah, I mean the issue there is we don't want to bother the professor. Like if
No, bother the professor, bother the student.
Oh.
So it works both ways.
Yeah. I mean, we just want to. So, especially if it's new, we don't want to just like completely flood the professor's inbox with random emails or anything. So, that is something we can look into, but it's not something that we want to bother too much with. Like, possibly. Yeah.
Right. So the other issue is contacting and informing the RCOS community.
Yeah.
I think the best way to go about that would be one, like get a domain name and get something like working.
Yeah.
Talk to a few professors, like to just get them onto the site initially, and say like these are professors who are like actually on the site and check it regularly.
Sure.
And then go and like just start advertising that to like all the Facebook groups, all of hit up the RCI Reddit, and maybe like tweet at RCI News or something like that, and just all social media
Yeah.
that you can get on.
Sure. Fair enough. Yeah.
Maybe you mentioned this, but I was thinking that you could have it so when a student sends a professor like a question,
Right.
they would like CC like AskRPI at whatever domain you have, and then that would automatically like create a topic based on the subject of the email, and then when the professor replies, they will hit reply all, and then it sees it's in the same thread, it will post that as like the answer. I don't know if this is
Yeah, I mean, wait, so if a student posts to,
So if the student emails a professor and he sends it to us.
oh,
So you'd
Okay,
CC
yeah.
like AskRPI, and then when you click reply all, it's also CC.
that definitely sounds like fun. Really good.
That's easy.
Yeah. Anything else? All right. Thank you.